that way, like the details on the attendance office.
Well, it's Monday, and it's somewhere close to 5 o'clock. At this time, I will call the work session for the Perry City Council, Monday, April 3rd, 2017, to order, please. We have a quorum. Item 3, items for review and discussion. Item 3A is under administration. Item 3A1 is a request to place a marker in Evergreen Cemetery. Mr. Gilmore.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and Council, in your package, you had a request for putting a marker. It's a follow-up conversation to that. That request is being withdrawn. And what was recommended to the petitioner, which she's in agreement with, is right across the street. You know, we're talking about putting in it's not officially the Veterans Park, but remember the reflecting pond with the different citizens and everything. And that's, she feels would be much more appropriate for the request.
Thank you. Questions, council? Thank you. Item 3B are fire and emergency services. 3B1, we've been asked to consider a resolution authorizing the Perry Fire and Emergency Services Department to join the Georgia Mutual Aid Group. Chief Parker.
Yes, Mayor and Council, thank you. In your package, you should have had a copy of the resolution as we put together, pretty much from the Georgia Mutual Aid Group, and then a letter that I wrote up, kind of telling about it a little bit. Basically, it's just a simple, Georgia Mutual Aid Group is a group that has formed inside the state of Georgia, and they are pretty much the arm of GEMA that reaches out to send resources where they're needed. So if we join, basically, which most of Houston County and all our surrounding area have joined as well, but if we join, then basically what that allows us to do is to receive mutual aid should we need it in a big event like today or obviously something bigger than this, but where other parts of the state were not affected, they can send resources into us. Then same thing, we could send resources out if we need to, just like we do now with our neighbors, but this would be more far reaching. One thing it allows us to do as an organization is GMAG would host several events kind of statewide that would give our personnel a chance to go and train and get more experience with the whole deploying type process or rendering aid to other people. So that would, and it would also benefit us as well receiving that same type of training and aid from them as well. So it's almost, there's no cost to the city to join at all, and it's just I think it's a good thing across the board.
Thank you, Chief. I've got a couple of questions.
Yes.
You're familiar with the EMA directives that we have for emergency operations, should there be a natural or man-made disaster that's already in place?
Yes, sir.
In that document, it dictates who has control. It covers things, I think, similar to what you're talking about the fact that we can receive mutual aid from I think, state agencies and even the federal government, should, depending on the type of emergency that's declared and by whom.
Yes, sir.
It also references operational procedures and control specifically. And that agreement is in place, and you know all this. I'm just going over some stuff that's already in place. The agreement that you're asking us to join here, with what effect will it have on the existing agreements? And it referenced several code sections, and then I only looked up a couple of them from that standpoint, and it did make reference to some operational control. And the reason I mentioned this, I'm not trying to answer the question for you, but the one thing I don't want to do is get y'all caught in between different agencies, either federal, state, or local, nor do I want any control, quote unquote, of the handling of an emergency to be anything other than you.
Correct.
Or whomever the appropriate local designee is, and then that's my main concern.
Right, and that's exactly what it does. It lists those Georgia codes at 25-6, which talks about mutual aid pacts.
Right.
What that does, it just tells you in there that we have the authority to enter into pacts, whether it be federal, state, whatever the case may be. And it also says that we retain our own independence, basically, in that. So there's no liability if we don't respond to someone else, and there's no, if we do go there and someone gets hurt or we damage equipment or something like that, there's no liability loss there either. It kind of pretty much falls on, just like we're operating in our own backyard, so to speak. So there's Yes, sir, there's no catch in there where we're gonna be held for anything or anything like that, so.
And we're not subrogating control to anyone else?
Correct, we're maintaining our own control. Yes, sir.
Okay, is there any conflict between the existing EMA, disaster operations plans and this package?
No, sir, I did check with Chief Williams with the county EMA, the umbrella that we fall under there, and he said there's no problem. They're actually, Houston County, as well as Warner Robins and Centerville are all members of GMAG already.
Okay.
So yes, sir, we would lose nothing.
Answer my questions in council. Something's a good thing. Everything else? Has the city attorney looked at the agreements from that standpoint?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Mr. Gilmore, do you have any thoughts other than what's been expressed?
As the chief said, it doesn't cause us any harm, so I think subject to the city attorney's approval, you'll see it's on your agenda for tomorrow, so I just recommend you go ahead.
That's fine with me. You've answered my questions. I just had a couple of concerns. What I don't want to do, like I've already said, is inadvertently give somebody else control over a situation we need to retain for ourselves.
Right.
And that's primarily you.
Yeah, we'll do
That's
that.
all. Okay. Council, is it, we'll move forward with approval? Consensus?
Yes.
Okay. It's on the agenda for tomorrow on that. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Chief, I appreciate that. I think that's a good thing.
All right, thank you.
Item 3C is leisure services. 3C1 is a presentation of the Perry Public Arts Survey data. Mr. Dye.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and council, what I have for you is some feedback on our public arts survey that was recently finished. I don't know if I didn't bring extra copies. Is it going to be able to be on the screen? Okay. There we go. Okay. Everybody see it? All right. When we started our public art survey, this, of course, is a very important part of our master plan process. Okay, we've been writing the master plan, been working on it, so it's probably about 3/4 of the way finished. But one of the most important components of it was the public art survey, because we wanted to know what the citizens thought, what did they want, and this survey went out as a feeler to get that response. And we actually we got 395 surveys. I've had about 10 more come in, but I had to cut them off last week in order to produce this so we could talk about it. So there's a few of them that have not been calculated in here. The 10 that I have seen follow suit with every number that you're about to see tonight. Of those surveyed, we asked them, have you ever been out to experience public art in any shape or fashion? 290 of them, 74%, replied that they had, either in Perry or somewhere else. 26 responded no. Okay. The second question that we asked was, what are the benefits of public art that they thought would be helpful to Perry? Of those surveyed, livability and attractiveness of the city got a 63 percentile rating. The visitors and shoppers, increased interest in investors, that got another 60 percentile, 62. Increased public involvement in the arts, and then increase of local revenue through tourism. Okay. In short, it was a common response that folks believe public art would help increase the vitality, livability, and attractiveness of the city. Okay. Go on to number 3, please. Okay. This was pretty interesting here. We had quite a significant number of choices, and of those, I categorized the top 4 for you. Those were any that were in the 50th percentile or higher. They all scored fairly close. You can see the highest was fountains at 60%. Next was themed gardens at 59%, freestanding sculpture 58%, street furniture, which is waste receptacle, benches, lights, etc., 57%. Now, that to me is a tip of the hat, so to speak, for the work that's already been done. Okay, you had these things already in place throughout town, and you've been doing them for a long time before we started doing this. So that shows to me that folks are liking what they're seeing already. They're wanting some more of it. Their top choice, of course, fountains. We've got those in plan with some of our other parks that are already designed right now that have been put out into the public with some of the smaller fountains and reflection pools and things of that nature. The interesting one that I thought were the themed gardens. That is not something that you see a lot around in Perry. We do see a lot of flowers, trees. We're known for that. Perry has a lot of green, welcoming space to it. And if you turn to the next slide, this is an example of what a themed artistic garden is. Now, there are hundreds of examples on the internet. These are just some pictures that I wanted to throw up there to just kind of dial into what is a themed artistic garden, okay? It can be anything from an animal to pot to, you know, different types of landscape in any kind of space that you have. When we've been talking with, as the Arts Commission, and some of us have had some conversations of, you know, there's themes for every kind of project. And when you think of Perry, the growing season that we have down here, the warm weather, you know, this could be something that down the road would be worth looking into. The public, in response to the survey, has, you know, they like the plants. So that's another tip of the hat. And from someone who's not native to Perry, when you come here, it's one first thing that I noticed was a lot of the hanging baskets, the crepe myrtles, the landscape, just that sort of thing. So I think this plays into folks kind of being proud of what they see already, but adding a creative flair to it. Okay, next one. This one, I always like to be involved in public art. Okay, we did not get an overwhelming response for hands-on type activities. Okay, meaning wanting to get out there, get your hands dirty, create some stuff, raise some funds, etc. Our positive responses were for participation in concerts, dance, and theater. Okay, that, you know, to me, I was not surprised. We have a lot of, you know, we've got the music festival, we've got the dogwood festival, we've got different things that happen in Perry where people like to show up and they like to go home. Okay, that's nothing new. That's in everything. Most folks today will live fast-paced lives. We, you know, we want to go take our kids, take our families, do something, go back in the car and go home. So the data supports that they like the activities such as concerts, theater, dance. They also had a 45% response to attending an art walk and unveiling of an art piece, an observation of a one-day event that where others create art. That would be something like, I think Macon does a sidewalk chalk painting or something like that. You've got some other, those kind of activities where something happens around a special event and something's created. Okay, that's a very broad term, but you know, some communities have had success with that. Okay, next one. This one, I think this one is another response of credit for what is being done in Perry. Overwhelmingly, when asked, where would you like to see public art? And this is a very important question. And we had it put at number 5 because we wanted the minds going by the time we got to this question. Where do you want to see it? Where do you want to experience it? The number one place was the downtown district. Now, I think that is a strong indication that folks love the downtown. Okay, they like coming out to it, they like shopping, they like being out in the downtown area. That is also another strong credit to the push, at least that as a newcomer, I've always noticed is one of the things we love when we first go to downtown, because a lot of communities don't have it. They don't have downtowns like we have. The second place that they wanted to see them was in city parks. As a parks director, I had to admit that. That's right in my wheelhouse. That's what we do. We own the land, we own the property, no easements, nothing required. It just has to be a part of the process of everything else that we do, programming wise. And we've already, when I say we, you, have already incorporated some art into the new parks. We've got spots set aside for JC's Park, 3rd Street Park, Heritage Park. And that is a good thing. That's the right direction to go, and the data supports that. The other 2 areas were along walking trails and city sidewalks. We're blessed to have quite a few nice sidewalks in our town with the alternative transportation plan, and it's continuing growth and development. Okay, the next one, please. Last question was, and it's very important, do you consider public arts projects relevant and support the city's involvement? 349, 89% responded yes. Okay. 30 participants, 8% responded no. Of the no's, the significant response stating why they said no was they actually written in hand. Their greatest concern was opposition to increased taxes to support these kinds of projects. That's understandable. That is not a response that shocked anybody. But even though it's a reasonable response, you can see that the numbers do not outweigh those who stated that they like it. So, Perry Public Arts Commission, we would like to publicly thank everybody who took the time to do the survey. We received a strong response, and now the work will be taking this data, plugging it into the plan. And that's our next step. We just wanted to do this presentation for you, just let you see what we saw and our findings and how this is going to play out into the bigger plan, so to speak. Are there any questions about that? Any surprises? Not really. What?
Yeah, you guys do it all.
Do it all.
No, I didn't know that. I would ask though, if you could, give this PowerPoint to Cindy and, or Miss Annie, one, so they can attach it, as an attachment in our board file.
Yes, sir. And that was on me. I left town.
No, that's okay.
And I'll be sure they have their copies. Absolutely.
Also, if not right down over to Ellen,
Yeah,
post on the website and everything.
Yes, sir.
that would be good. Very good.
Well, throughout this plan, this creative process, if there are questions, please feel free to contact me or Commissioner. One of our commissioners, two of our commissioners are here to be with us tonight, so we really appreciate your support.
Speaking of that, do y'all have anything you'd like to add? Okay. Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Gilmore, is there anything under item 3, items for review and discussion we need to address?
No, sir.
Thank you. Item 4, council member items. Well, it's item 4 on my list. Ms. Madam Gray? Mr. Jones?
One item there, I asked about Dawson Prairie to do with like a property management in today's storm. And that our Dawson Prairie go ahead and be in advance for when that is, I understand the weather is supposed to come back again. So that's all.
Duly noted. Thank you. Mr. Walker?
Yes. Related to the storm, there was a lot of damage over in my area on Tucker. And we have some people, a lot of trees down. We need to be mighty lenient when it comes cleanup time, letting them put stuff out there on the road. Well, this is a mess.
It is. I agree. Okay. Thank you. Mr. Jackson? No, sir. Mr. King? Thank you. Mr. Gilmore?
Two things, Mayor. The first one is I sent out to you the proposed schedule for the budget hearings. Since I have not heard anything back, I'm assuming they are okay as it stands right now. Is that correct? Okay. The second thing, and we'll have more particulars for you soon, but Houston County and the cities are having a tire collection basis, non-commercial, where you can bring tires in and they will dispose of them. It's going to be on April 21st, to I think the 23rd, which is the birthday weekend, I think. The drop-off place for our area here is going to be over at the Public Works facility, County Public Works facility on Keys, Chapel Road. And like I said, anybody can bring their tires, but it's not for commercial uses. So we'll get some more information out on that. I just want to let you all know.
Very good. Anything else?
Okay.
Mr. Holder?
No, sir.
Thank you. Next, we have department head items from the Department of Economic Development. Mr. Smith.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Mayor and Council, I have a couple items for y'all. As you are probably aware, today the CDBG for FY 2017 funding application was submitted. We actually submitted it this past week. Did Ms. Sherry Kurtz, who y'all authorized to submit on behalf of the city. And I just wanted to get with y'all, provide a couple final pieces of information. pertinent to the application, because a couple of things have changed. Firstly, as you're all aware, this has not changed. The CDBG project will be benefiting 16 homes in Sand Hill. We're requesting $722,000, so it's up about $32,000 from the originally stated ask, if you will. This was due to a fire, and the house actually needed to be reconstructed as opposed to rehab. So that's where that change comes from. And actually, and surprisingly, for these 16 units, 77 people stand to be direct beneficiaries of the $722,000. So you're looking at households that have, on average, close to 5 people per household, and 92% of those are low to moderate income. So this money could really touch a lot of lives, and we feel pretty good about its chances of being funded. So you should all be proud. The city put forth a good application again, and we look forward to the August-September timeframe for the announcement of whether it was funded or not. If you have any further questions or wish to have any more information, just please contact me and I can get you anything, including a copy of the completed application. A couple of good things going on this month with the Perry Housing Team. As you're aware, we are having a couple of events in the last week of April. First, we'll be having the first ever City of Perry Housing Fair. Very excited about this event. We have a lot of exhibitors lined up to attend. We'll have some prizes, giveaways, refreshments. It's open to all City of Perry residents or visitors. You don't have to be from the City of Perry to participate. If you're interested in home ownership, purchasing a home improvement programs, that type of thing, please make plans to attend. Again, we'll have giveaways and food and that type of thing. Should be an excellent event. Then a couple of days after that, and that's April 27th, 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock p.m. at Creekwood Park Pavilion. And if there is inclement weather, we'll be moving it to the World Center over at Rozier Park. 2 days after that, we'll be having our spring neighborhood cleanup. This year it'll be in Ocklahatchee. And again, working with, someone who's been very beneficial partner in this has been Houston County Habitat for Humanity. And they have a lot of volunteers lined up again to participate this time. So we're expecting a good turnout. Again, everyone's welcome to attend and participate in the cleanup. It takes place April 29th. It's a Saturday morning. We'll be mustering, if you will, at 8:30 a.m. At Barbara Calhoun Park. We'll clean up for a great 4 hours, and then we'll have a lunch cookout, and we're expecting to have some good barbecue this go around. So further incentive to participate. And again, it takes place at Barbara Calhoun Park on April 29th at 8:30 in the morning. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Department of, I'm gonna say, all right, let's go to community development. Mr. Wood.
Nothing tonight, sir.
Thank you. From the Department of Finance and Administration, Ms. King.
Yes, sir. Just to remind you all that tomorrow the bond closed for the Perry Public Facility, so those funds should be deposited on tomorrow. Unfortunately, we were scheduled to cut over to tomorrow for the phone system. That will not happen. We requested some additional information from Windstream last week. It came over the weekend and forwarded to Mike this morning. So I didn't hear from him. We were just getting back in town. So I'm expecting to hear from him tomorrow, so we'll see what date that is. Plus, they have to coordinate some the recording with police. So right now, I have no idea. So, but we're still working on it.
And the phone still work?
Yes. Yes, they will still continue to work.
Thank you. From the Department of Legal Services, Mr. Dye?
Yes, Mayor, I have two things for everyone. Our spring basketball registration has already begun, but it will end on April 7th for ages 6 through 12. Practice will begin on April 11th. The registration fee for that this year is $25. Practices will be held on Tuesdays and Thursdays. The season will end May 20th. Typically, this is a small league. We had about 30 participants last year. We're expecting about the same. But, for the kids that like to play, it's one of their fun ones. And then we got a fun event that we're coming up. We did it last year. It's our second year. We're going to have the kids fishing rodeo at Rozier Park. It's going to be on Saturday, April 22nd. Registration will be at 8:30 a.m. Competition starts at 9 and ends at 11. Our fish weigh-in begins at 11:15. We will be serving lunch at noon. There'll be prizes. Last year we did biggest cats and smallest cats. We'll leave it as a surprise for this year. We don't know quite yet what we'll do. Each participant will need their own fishing pole and rod. We'll be supplying some bait, and adults are asked to assist the kids in baiting the hooks if they need to. For those who don't like to fish, our partner, which is the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, they're gonna have a reptile show as well. So, if you don't wanna get your hands slimy, you can always grab a snake or a lizard or something. But last year, it was a very fun event. We had about 50 families show up, and we had an educational component like this that started at noon, and everybody stuck around for it. So, trying to incorporate all those things into a fun day. So, if you have little ones and want to come out and join us, we would sure like to have them.
What's the date?
April the 22nd, it's a Saturday, barring none of this activity.
Just email.
Yes.
Those to the next place.
Yes, sir. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. From the Department of Public Works, Mr. Shell.
Yes, sir, I got a couple of things. Mayor and council, just to let y'all know a little information here. Myself, Mr. Todd Ennis, Susan Miles, and Mr. Virgil Newberry have just successfully passed a 120-hour course through the University of Georgia and Carl Vincent for a manual development course. We graduated last Thursday. Mr. Gilmore came up for our presentation. The class itself was about 26 people from around the state of Georgia, from city managers to public work directors to fire and rescue and everything else. We did a community project in Warner Robins for the Genesis House, which is a halfway house, or for homeless women veterans to help them get back on their feet. We went and did a 2-week project over there and built a barn for them and cut trees and cleared the lots for them. And then the last one, we had to put a personal project together, each one of us, and we did stormwater and the welcome to Perry package that we had to do a presentation on. Just wanted to let the council know that where your money's been spent on education, stuff like that. And right now, I do have a crew out on the scene. We've got a tree across the road over on Parkway. We're waiting on Georgia Power to come and de-energize the power line so we can get that tree removed, get that street open back up. So as of 5 o'clock, we're still waiting on Georgia Power. Other than that, most of the streets are clear for the most part. We do have a lot of down trees around town and some power lines, but Georgia Power comes out and DOT have been notified for the traffic lights that are out on Marshville Highway and South Perry Parkway and 41. And on the last note here, it's kind of a thing that popped up last Thursday. The air-conditioned 20-year-old unit at the police department upstairs in Captain Buck's office went kaput on us. And it has had a server up there. I do have 2 estimates. I didn't know how y'all want to proceed. I know anything over 5,000 has to go to y'all. They want to get this expedited as quickly as possibly can. I didn't know how y'all want to proceed with this. But I do have 2 bids here, one Sullivan and Hoax, one for $51.81 and one for $57.94. I didn't know if y'all wanted to think about it or if they wanted to get it fixed as fast as we could so that we don't get into the hot season.
Mr. Gilmore, will you have that added to the agenda tomorrow night? And if you could, give the copies of the bid stencil sheets so we can put it as an attachment to the supplemental agenda, and then the council can take it up tomorrow evening.
Okay.
Is that okay with council?
That's all I have.
I have a question. Yes, you said one road out. What about Tucker?
Well, Tucker, I don't know about that end of the trucker there, but we got the tree on Parkway. And nobody called in about the one down there. Is that below your house?
I live on Tucker and it's blocked off right at my house.
Okay. Nobody called us about that. They said they
Y'all
don't.
got the road blocked with.
Must have been the fire department, because Public Works never got a call about that. I've got the sticky note, Vicky, Utility's been calling me all day since about 2:30 about all the traffic lights and everything. But as soon as I get done here, I'll ride by there and check on it and see how they're going.
Got a bunch of folks turning around in my yard.
I started out that way because 18 trees are down in Miss Meadows' pasture, and then I turned around and come back this way because there was other trees down in other yards and they didn't even call. But I'll go check on it as soon as we're done with this meeting.
Trees in my yard.
Trees in your yard down.
Right yard.
Thank you, Mr. Shell. From the police department, and I say the police and fire last because of the inclement weather, and I use those words very loosely, that we have had. Chief, will you give us an update, and then y'all can chime in together if you want to, because I know it's been a
We
joint
have
effort.
first, so.
I know y'all have individual things that y'all done, but this has been y'all show today, so tell us what's going on.
Mr. Hunt, we blocked the road on Tucker because there's a power pole that's been sheared off. Georgia Power is down around toward Devilwood from your house. Georgia Power is working on that. As of 15 minutes ago, we only have 47 customers out with the power. They're working on the pole. It's going to take a while. We've consulted with Chief Williams. Everything appears to be straight line winds. We don't know the velocity, or I don't. This, Chief Parker does. We don't see anything that leads us to believe there's any tornadic activity. It's all straight line. Well, so far none on the radar, and nobody spotted the funnel cloud, you know, all the classic things you look for. Got a lot of trees down. We got trees on houses. We got fences down. We got all kinds of smaller structures that are, you know, no longer exist or heavily damaged. But no injuries, no reports of injuries. The one house, Mr. Walker, that we were talking about earlier, that had the 2 oak trees on it, we did confirm nobody was inside. They were at the school and actually showed back up right when Major Phelps and I were leaving. So she's fine. Her husband was completely somewhere else too. So just the 2 roads that are closed right now, as far as I know.
Which two of those, Tucker and Parkway?
Tucker and Parkway. And I think, I mean, as usual, the city crews and, you know, fire and everybody has got out there and cleared the roads. There's a lot of debris on the sides of the roads and yards and home houses and things like that. But other than that, I think, you know, we're fairly operational other than that. I mean, apparently a tree hit the wire, which sheared the pole, but the wires, I think there's one wire down. The Georgia Power's already working on it. That's enough.
So yes, sir, from the fire department perspective, we did, of course, we were under a tornado warning this afternoon. And like you said, we don't have any indication that some came through, at least that we saw, but there could have been something. We responded to about 30 calls in that 2-hour period from 1:30 to 3:30. Of course, everything from trees down in the roadway, home houses, wires down, a couple of EMS calls in there, nothing, no major injuries from any tree damage or anything like that. But we did have 3 off-duty firefighters that came in, and we got 2 more trucks in service, our brush trucks, and put them out. And because we had several calls pending that we couldn't go on because the trucks were out waiting on other things, and things just kept coming in. So we did eventually get some off-duty folks in, and we got caught up, and everything's good to go right now. But we may have some more stuff coming in later this afternoon or this evening, so we may have another round of it. And then, of course, Wednesday, some more expected as well, so. We'll be ready.
It's supposed to be warm tomorrow, and a huge cold front coming in, and see this going to cause whatever's happening there. So.
Do either of you need any help? I know it's not necessarily after the fact, but I know your crews have been working very hard today, and I know you've got your normal shifts going on. Do you need anything? Do we need to bring anybody else in? Maybe that's a better way to ask.
I don't think we do right now, but if we do later, we'll put a call out and get some off-duty guys to come in. But I think we're good right now. But, yeah, I think we're fine.
We expanded our personnel to handle what happened today, which our normal contingency plan for during the week, during the day, is that the detectives and the admin people, the command staff, go out and augment patrol, and we were able to cover everything by doing that. And we're approaching shift change now, so we'll have a fresh crew on. And we've got 2 squads that are off duty, and they know they're subject to call, so we're good.
Very good. Well, I know Public Works is included in that, y'all working overtime when we have events like this. I want to commend each of you and your staff and Public Works and the whole city staff for that. I'd like also Mr. Gilmore to be cognitive to calls coming into the city and just be responsive, if at all possible. I haven't done it after hours, but if someone were to call after hours, make sure that there's a way they can get to a body, even if you refer them to 911 so that they can get some help. Sometimes people don't get home until after everybody's closed, and I want to make certain that we're responsive. from that standpoint, and safe. I do know that there's been an awful lot of damage. We're real fortunate in that we've not had any injury, and that's a good thing. But the cleanup is going to take some time, and I want to make sure that we're available and that we will, like Mr. Hunt said, are very lenient on helping getting. Well, the yards is the right word. Whatever debris is there, that we get it cleared as soon as it's practical from that standpoint. And if you need any help with any of that, please let me know and we'll make some arrangements for that. That's why I was asking. I'm sure the phone still works, Ken. I wanted to make certain that we have a body that can answer those calls. I know that's interesting, and it's times like this that separate the good people from the great, and we've got great people that work in this city. And I want to make certain that we are responding to the citizens, and that's, of course, our first line. What we want to do is taking care of people. I think that's very important. And if there's something that should come up that we need to know about, please let me know as soon as possible on that. I know that we have someone who wishes to give us an update. There's probably an event that's coming up this weekend that somebody wants to talk about. It's just a small event, but I'm sure that she has she and her crew have been working on this for some time. Ms. McClendon, I understand you've got something going on Saturday,
Yes.
Sunday?
Yes, sir, just a little bit of something going on. And of course, we hate any tragedy and weather related, but we're kind of thankful at least it's not this weekend. We also wanted to share dogwood packets with the city council if we may. I believe they have them in the order that you are sitting. If not, please find whose envelope meets their name, because you might not want to wear their size shirt. So, we're very excited about this year's Dogwood. I sent y'all an email this afternoon as well. We reached out and got it marketed in the Georgia Trend magazine for the first time ever. Also in your packets, hot off the presses, and that their collectible items in there almost all gone. Is our Very Proud button. You'll notice that we made it Very Proud 2017, so it's not so dated, because last year, all year long, we got requests for more. So we can reorder and just keep that theme going all year long. Of course, in Chamber World, we're very responsive to sponsorship, so it does say 2017, so that we can start this all over next year. But please make sure that you notice all of our sponsors in your package as well. There's the brochure, and thank them because they keep this event going. We're kicking it off this year with something new as well. We are taking a hot air balloon event to a STEM day in Langston Road. And I want to make sure y'all are aware of that. One thing that I'm excited about that, if we can grow it from this year, I will probably be knocking on your door to find a central place that we can bring all of the elementary school students to maybe next year. That's what we'd like to grow it to. And we'll certainly be looking to see if there's a spot that works to do that in the city. But excited about that event. The Museum of Aviation has partnered with us on that, and they're sponsoring that, and we hope that all the TV media will be in our community for Friday. That's an all-day event at Langston Road Elementary. So just keeping Perry on the map and excited about this time of year. And our hot air balloon pilots, City Council, you were invited to be our host committee for that dinner. I have heard from a couple. If you're able to attend, please let me know. You're welcome to bring your spouse or guest. I probably failed to make that known to you, but our volunteers and committees are very busy in the streets getting ready for the festival. And last year we noticed it was David Campbell, my husband and I, sitting there trying to talk with them all, make them feel welcome. So I thought that was a great opportunity for our city council to meet them and make sure that they know that they are welcome here and that we're very proud to have them. And the mayor was gracious enough to give me a Perry pin for each one of them, so that'll be in the packet. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Reach out to any of us at the chamber. If you have nothing to do between 5 o'clock on Friday and 10 o'clock on Sunday night, let us know, we'll plug you in, I can promise you. So, Mayor, if you have any questions for me, or
Looking forward to it. It's a good event, and we're thankful that y'all continue to put it on, and it brings an awful lot of people in the area.
we're excited. We
We're
are.
thankful for that. Please let us know if there's something more we can do to help.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
What time is the visitor study?
6 o'clock at Worrell.
Friday night?
Friday, yes. At Worrell Center.
Ms. Palmer, I wasn't gonna leave you out. You got anything for us?
Nothing tonight.
Everything's working?
Everything's working.
Did you lose internet today?
I did not.
That's amazing. You did. At the college. I want y'all to keep in mind that if this storm didn't hit just Perry, Mr. Walker was gracious enough to give me some updates throughout the day, and one of the jobs that I have is with Central Georgia Technical College, and we have our hands full here, but I was tracking tornado warnings that were headed to 4 different campuses in 4 different counties, and warning people, and we actually had tornado procedures in place 4 different times. So it's interesting how weather can affect more than just one area, and how fast it can move. So when one was cleared, I was still dealing with several others, and it doesn't help when the phones don't work, and you can't get a hold of anybody in a specific building. So it's interesting, and I want you to know that you have other people who do a very good job. Our EMA system in this state is pretty good, and the responses are pretty good. And we have other EMA agencies, in just like we have here, in other counties and communities that do respond. But I have to admit that ours is still great. And we do a fantastic job, and I want to thank y'all for that. And it's not over yet. I'm afraid that this might be the first of several that might be coming our way, but don't lose heart. We have people, and we can replace things. And I hate to see some of the trees that we've lost on that, but the beauty of nature is that they will grow back. We may not live long enough to see them as big as they are, but they will grow back. But I wanted to thank each of you, and if you have some time to volunteer, there's going to be an awful lot of people in this town that need to have some yards cleaned up from that standpoint, and I think that is just now starting. So if you have any ideas about how to accomplish that, please let some of us know so that we can help restore some degree of normalcy to some of our citizens' lives. I think that's very important on that. We do have a meeting tomorrow. The pre-council meeting is at 5 o'clock. Upstairs in the conference room, the council meeting is at 6 o'clock, right where we are right now. All of our meetings are open to the public. If you're interested, I'm going to give a State of the City address to the prime timers at Perry United Methodist Church Thursday at noon. I'm sure they would love to have you. They have some pretty good food there. The food's going to be better than the speech, so it'll be worth seeing. And then our next scheduled meeting after that is on Monday the 17th, work session at 5 p.m. Council meeting will be on Tuesday the 18th for 5 and 6 o'clock. If there's nothing further, thank you for your interest and participation. Oh, excuse me. Chief.
2 real quick things.
Yes,
Just
sir.
heard back from Georgia Power. They expect to have the Tucker Road pole repaired before midnight. And I want to remind y'all, Tom Davis' retirement luncheon tomorrow at 11:30 at Art Center.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. I had on my calendar, I just forgot to mention. Thank y'all very much. If there's nothing further, we stand adjourned.